Hey guys, this is B Communications, and welcome back to a new episode of Talking WWE. Now, I've been pretty busy with schoolwork and so forth, and I did a bunch of reviews for Valentine's Day, so I haven't really been able to catch up on SmackDown. See, this is just this is a lot to do, really, and I'm balancing out my schoolwork plus, other movie reviews and so forth, and also doing reviews of WWE stuff. So it might not be consistently um let's say like up to date because I get behind real easy because I don't really have time to watch SmackDown, and I've kind of been putting it off a bit because SmackDown has yet to really impress me. But anyway, this is my review of last week's Raw. I know, I know, doing a review of last week's Raw. Well, the new Raw is going to air tonight, but it's just that's just where I'm at right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video though. Anyway, this is the Raw from the 9th of February, and it opens up with Roman Reigns shows up, and right from the bat, this episode of Raw starts out with a wet fart because Roman Reigns shows up and says, "I'm gonna beat beat Brock Lesnar, and I'm gonna beat you at Fastlane, Daniel Bryan, and then I'm gonna go on to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and become the WWE champion." Seriously, right from the bat, Raw starts with an absolute fail, a terrible botch by Roman Reigns on the mic. I'm gonna beat. I mean, come on. How do you mess up the word beat? How do you mess that up, man? How do you mess up? I'm gonna beat you. I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. How do you mess that up? So I can see why people think he's shitty on the mic. The man messed up the word beat. Anyway, so you start that off, and Stephanie McMahon and so forth, they start shilling out the WWE Network again. So I'm like, really? It's just distracting. I can't remember of anything, not even the NFL Network. I can't remember anything I've ever seen in sports entertainment that shills as much as Stephanie McMahon and Triple H do during an episode of Raw or SmackDown for the WWE Network. It's just put an advertisement on the bottom of the screen. You don't need to name drop the network what seems like every other minute or some shit. It's ridiculous. And it's pathetic. And it's absolutely, it just screams that you're desperate, which they are. Anyway, so that doesn't end. That's a shitty way to open the mat. Open this Raw. So Daniel Bryan comes out, thanks Raw, thanks Raw. Well, he thanks the fans too, but I mean, he thanks Reigns for spearing Big Show last week and helping secure the win against Seth Rollins. He has the fast lane match, and then he says he is a better wrestler than Reigns. Then Stephanie McMahon plugs the network again. Triple H talks about Sting, and he says, "Sting, you better give me an answer tonight, or else," or some shit like that. And calls him a coward. Stephanie decides Reigns for spearing Big Show and Bryan for stuffing Kane and Casket 2 weeks ago. That there needs to be some retribution. So pretty much what happens is the Authority books them in a tag team match against Big Show and Kane right now. And the match wasn't much because then the Authority gets involved and screws it, and then it becomes like they all get disqualified, and then Roman Reigns is accidentally given the running knee by Daniel Bryan, but it looked intentional, and that was the point because they're building up this drama for Fastlane. And I have to admit, I enjoyed Roman Reigns beating the shit out of the Big Show with a chair, but that's really about it. It was kind of disappointing tag team match. A brawl then breaks out after the bell. That's when Bryan hits tries to drop kick. Well, he doesn't really drop kick. He does a running knee. He tries a running knee on Kane, but he dodges, and Bryan hits Reigns. Triple H then grabs the mic and books Reigns and Bryan another match against Seth Rollins, Big Show, Kane, and J&J Security. Ryback then shows up in a match with Seth Rollins, but he only defeats Seth because of disqualification when J&J Security get their bald dumbasses involved, and then Ryback gets curb stomped. So right off the bat, we start out with the Authority ruining the ending of 2 matches, which I understand they're trying to build up drama and so forth, but this is frustrating as hell to watch, and it was just a bad way to start one of the worst Raws I've seen lately. This Raw was a Raw asshole. This is a fucking terrible Raw. This is a rant. This Raw sucked ass. We then get word that Sheamus will return. And we get like 2 different ads for the return of Sheamus. I'm like, yay. I didn't like Sheamus so much when he was a heel, but when he became a face, I kind of warmed up to him a little bit, but he still wasn't my favorites. I'm just not a fan of his jizz hair. I'm really not. The Paige then defeats Brie Bella with her Rampage move, despite attempted interference of Nikki Bella, which I didn't mind that. That was an okay match. It wasn't really memorable, but it was better than some of the other matches. Rusev then comes out with Lana, who says Rusev is proud to be facing John Cena at Fastlane, and John Cena should feel the same. She compliments Cena's never give up motto and calls him one of the greatest champions in WWE history. Then she shows a video showing his feats, and then it shows him getting injured. Basically, all the times that Cena got hurt. And then Rusev takes a microphone and says the old Cena no longer exists. Rusev calls himself a hero and says Cena wants nothing to do with him. Rusev says Cena is no longer the young man he was, and he's now a weak man with no fighting spirit. So Rusev will crush him at Fastlane. It's like, I will crush you, John Cena! And it's just, I don't give a shit. This segment went on way too damn long. Cena comes in and says like, yeah, this old man is gonna whoop your ass! And I'm like, he really does sound like an old man. He really does. I half expected Jimmy Stewart's voice to come out of his voice. You see here, Rusev, this old man is gonna whoop your ass. This old man's gonna whoop your ass in Fastlane, sonny. This is really terrible. Jimmy Stewart. John Cena. It's terrible. And then Rusev comes in and they get a little bit of a fight, and then it's not much. Rusev goes for Cena's eye, and then that's it. It's a shitty fucking build-up to a shitty match that I don't give a fuck about. I don't care. It's the shitty gimmick. It's the stale gimmick versus the even staler gimmick match. I don't give a shit. I don't care who wins. So anyway, after that just goes on way too long. It's just uncomfortably shitty performances by both Rusev and Cena trying to trash talk each other. You get a good video where, of course, you actually got that after this match, which is the best match. I would say one of the best matches of the night. Bray Wyatt defeats Dolph Ziggler. Once again, Ziggler and Wyatt had a hell of a match again together. It had a lot of good back and forth, and it was really entertaining. But it doesn't save the show, because I thought the show was lame for the most part. But that was a good match. At the minute, I liked that match. WWE then honors Junkyard Dog for Black History Month, which I liked that. They did a good job with that video package. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman then head to the ring, and Heyman he was great. But like I said, it was still pretty shitty Raw, because for the most part, there really wasn't that many matches that I liked or really loved. I mean, Bray Wyatt versus Dolph Ziggler I liked, but I didn't love the match because Bray Wyatt won. But I'm starting to warm up to Bray Wyatt anyway, so it was kind of predictable, but at the same time, there was good back and forth, so I didn't necessarily know who's going to win. So it was a well done match. But First two matches sucked. Paige versus Brie was okay. I was glad that I liked the Paige one. That was a bit unexpected. Paul Heyman is absolutely fantastic on the mic, and it was great to watch him basically say that Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns are lying. They're lying when they say that they are going to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. They are lying. He really did. You know, he's very. Paul Heyman is very convincing. That's all I gotta say. Heyman then starts to talking about. Then he starts with Reigns, talks about his roots from the most dangerous area of Samoa, but he says he urinated himself when he faced Brock Lesnar. As for Bryan, Heyman does a yes chant and says Bryan is the ultimate overachiever. Heyman says Bryan is lying to himself if he says he can beat Brock Lesnar. Daniel Bryan is lying. He's lying to himself if he says that he can beat the Beast, Brock Lesnar. He then touts Bryan's ability, but asks if he can beat beat the one in 21-1. Heyman then says whoever wins should get in a helicopter with Bryan Williams and subject himself to enemy fire because that would be nothing compared to an F5. See, I have to admit I could watch Heyman talk for hours, really. We could just make the whole episode of Raw just Heyman talking, and that would have been better than better than what we got. The New Day then defeats the Dust Brothers, which is that really what their name was? I thought it was just Goldust and Stardust, but the Dust Brothers. I will just call them the the Dust Bunnies or Dusty Bottoms. Predictably, Stardust freaks out again, walks out. New Day pins Goldust. Then there's a backstage thing where Stardust hisses at Goldust again and gets in a fight. Not much of anything. Shoves him and says, "Cody is dead." And then, which is astounds Goldust. He's like, "Oh." Triple H then hits the ring and says Sting stayed out of WWE for 14 years because he knew Hunter would take him out. But at Survivor Series, Sting attacked like a coward, so he wants him to show up right now and give him an answer. He's going to show up for a match. And we get a decent video promo for Sting pretty much accepting the match at Fastlane, but I thought the whole thing was botched, the in-ring portion of it, because you knew Sting was not in the ring. It was completely obvious he wasn't in the ring. You're supposed to put up like spotlights in the crowd. You're supposed to spotlight the Sting's in the ring. But it's so blatantly obvious he's not in the fucking ring. And he's not even in the arena. And then he shows up. And supposedly he's supposed to be mind games to scare Triple H. And then he shows up, Sting shows up in the ring, and it's not Sting. It is so totally not Sting. It is so badly done. It's laughable. I was laughing. It was a laughable setup because it was so obviously not Sting. It was some stunt double with Cher hair, with hair that looks like he bought. It looked a wig that it looks like he got it from the dollar store. It looked cheap. It looked terrible. Sting's hair isn't anywhere near that long, and he's got hair almost down to his ass. It was like, what the hell? It was a total botch, and it completely ruined what they were building up to. So I didn't even think that was worth it either. I accept because they fucked it up when a double of Sting supposedly shows up in the ring. And then you have Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. They defeat the Usos. It was an okay match. I like Cesaro. I think he should be doing more than being Tyson Kidd's partner, though. Rikishi was announced as the next member of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2015. That was cool. But, that's a video package I could have saw online. Didn't have to watch that on Raw. Sin Cara then defeats Damien Mizdow after Miz causes a distraction. The Miz is a dick. The Miz sucks. The Miz still fucking sucks, and I still hate I still hate his fucking face. Fuck the Miz, and this match sucked, and the Mizdow sucks because he's pretty much just the Miz, and Sin Cara won, which is predictable, and that was just a shitty match, and I've had enough. Bray Wyatt then does another promo that teases a confrontation with the Undertaker. Kurt Axel then cuts another promo about Royal Rumble and says his conspiracy is not going to WrestleMania. Tries to get everybody to spread the word of, yeah, hashtag Axelmania, Axelmania. And then Dean Ambrose comes back in and kicks his ass, gives him dirty deeds. And then he tries to get the mic and calls out Bad News Barrett for the Intercontinental title opportunity. And Bad News Barrett comes on with this lame ass show, BNZ, and says, you're not ready or some shit, or you're not blah 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 blah. He just rejects him again. Which I'm like, you're just a fucking pussy. It's a pussy, bad news. Yeah, you're pussy, fucking pussy Barrett. You're a fucking pussy. You're a bloody pussy. You're a bloody pussy. Bad News Barrett, a bloody pussy. Then the handicap main event match turns into a beatdown, of course, because Authority tears the announce table apart. Ryback and Ziggler then come in to make the save, and it was okay, I guess. But that was the only reason why they had them get screwed over in the first few matches of Raw, but it didn't make the whole episode great. It wasn't a payoff, wasn't worth all that, 2 matches getting fucking ruined by the Authority. But who wants to watch that? I don't want to watch that. I really don't. And then Bryan is left with J&J security in the ring. He takes out both of them, kicks them a bunch of times. Then he sets up for the running knee on Joey Mercury, but Reigns tags himself in and spears Mercury for the pin. After the bell, Bryan gets in Reigns' face. Reigns tries to leave, but Bryan turns him around and yells at him some more. Bryan shoves him, and Reigns spears Daniel Bryan, which was unexpected. And I applauded at that, and I actually was like, yeah, I was like, because that was unexpected, and I'm glad WWE went there. So that was something that I genuinely did like about this Raw is Reigns spearing Daniel Bryan, because it sets up Fastlane pretty well. So, but other than that, I have the 5 on whatever. It was okay. It was okay. The highlight was Reigns spearing Daniel Bryan. Really, it was entertaining. I'll give it that. Bray Wyatt versus Dolph Ziggler was a good match. But other than that, I mean, Paul Heyman was great as usual, and the Sting promo was disappointing, especially the in-ring stuff. And overall, it was a pretty shitty Raw. It was a shitty Raw. Like I said, it was a raw asshole. I really don't know what to say about it. I know it's a pretty short video, but it was a pretty forgettable Raw for the most part. I really don't have much else to say, except I'm dreading SmackDown because every SmackDown I've seen so far has pretty much sucked. So I'm like, that's kind of why I've delayed it. But you'll see a review of SmackDown sometime later, as well as this week's Raw. And but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know, just there's not a lot of energy here because it really wasn't much for me to. This Raw wasn't much to write home about anyway. There wasn't much to talk about in the first place. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. See ya.